All right, guys. So look at Tesla. Tesla popping over the 200 EMA, or right around the volume weighted average price now. So Tesla moving up a little bit this morning. Today we have Tesla earnings. This evening we have a bunch of stuff dropping today. All right, so Tesla filing a recall of about 55,000 vehicles in the U.S. yesterday morning. But yeah, you see Tesla over the volume weighted average price is at 253s. They do drop there. I believe it's quarter three.
Oh, there we go. All right, so there we go. That should be better. But yeah, I believe it's quarter three earnings that Tesla drops. Um, and we do have Morgan Stanley earnings coming out sometime soon. So slap the like button if you can. We appreciate it. I'm just kind of waking up, drinking some coffee. I'll get some music playing as well. Here we go. Let me know if y'all can hear the music. You should be able to. What's up, Jay? But yeah, we got Morgan Stanley earnings. Earnings early is the worst commercial real estate here yet. What's the Yeah, I'm trying to look at some statistics for commercial. Like we can today's building permit housing starts data. Building permit uh data is interesting. Pending home sales are down 7.1%. Existing home sales are down 0.7%. I'm trying to see what's a good chart for commercial real estate though is what I'm looking at. Like what's a good chart to gauge commercial? Hey, what's up, Jay? All good, brother. Welcome in. So is my mic working now? It should be working. But what's a good chart to gauge commercial real estate? I think ASML is already out with their earnings. I believe, right? I think ASML dropped theirs like super early at like 2 a.m. this morning. They posted a third quarter EPS of 524, beat the 5 estimate. Sales of 7.26, beat the 7.49 estimate. I'll put that up right there. Yeah, my throat hurts, bro. Like we did rear naked chokes yesterday in jiu-jitsu. And I think the person I was training with was just in a bad mood. And so he just kind of cranked on the rear naked choke. You know, never train with somebody in a bad mood. That just hurt people, is what you realize. You know. But yeah. What's up, Trio? USB. The big one we had this morning is Morgan Stanley. Like Morgan Stanley earnings is really the big one. Like that's the big boy that drops this morning. Hit the like button if you can while you're here. Morgan Stanley's scheduled for 7:30, so scheduled for like 30 minutes from now. USB just dropped. So USB is out already too. I can post those numbers here if you want to check them out. But USB posted 105 EPS adjusted Q3 EPS, beat 104 estimates, slight beat, sales missed. So basically pretty neutral earnings for USB here. They barely beat EPS and sales slightly missed by about 10 mil. So but yeah, my throat hurts, dude. It feels like I got strep throat. And I know it's just from the rear naked choke crank. You know, like I know it's from the RNC crank, but still, it kind of hurts. Hurts to swallow. I had to get some of that like throat numbing spray. Anyways, Tesla earnings today, they are projected to show, what are they projected? They are projected to show 75-cent profit per share, which is not that much. I mean, to put it into perspective though, like when you look at their outstanding shares here, right? So let's take a look a little deeper into this here, bro. So let's see. My throat. I mean, I know stuff hurt. My knee is also torqued, dude. I hope it's not my ACL, MCL, or meniscus tear, but it hurts. It hurts, like the best way I could describe it on my knee is it hurts right on the side of it, like right on the side. I can feel it on like the lower left side of my knee. It's like right on the lower left side. It's sensitive when I press it. Now it could be just from lunges, you know. Maybe I should wear a knee brace or whatever. But yeah, I'm all hurt, man. I'm showing my age here. Hey, all good, Bob. I appreciate the support, dude. Demand supply do the magic. No reason real estate to drop. Yield money is good, but you have to understand that generally outside of yield money, people are going to make more money from when yields are low and the market is running and so forth, right? So when people are investing in the S&P 500, they're going to invest more and they're going to have more money than yields payments, right? Yield payments are still only about half of what the S&P 500 will give you. And so in that regard, I don't know how much of an influence it's going to have. And that might affect residential, but I think commercial real estate's in trouble. And I think commercial real estate has been in trouble. And I think it's going to be, there's just a lot of risk in commercial right now. My age, you feel like you have to pee while peeing. Yeah, I mean, I'm already there, bro. Like I said, I'm not young, I'm not like super old either. It's all relative, but like I'm not super young. I'm in my early to mid 30s, you know what I mean? So I'm not young. The cool thing about jiu-jitsu though is like you realize very quickly that even like I've been learning it for what, like 3 months now, 4 months, 3 months, maybe less. And like somebody new comes into the gym, somebody brand new, it doesn't matter how big they are, it doesn't matter how young they are. Like I sparred with this dude. He had to be like 6'2", 6'3", much taller than me, much bigger than me, like stronger than me too. And like he just got thrown around. And so you realize very quickly, like, and there's a lot of like fugazi martial arts, but like jiu-jitsu is not one of them. Jiu-jitsu is very useful. Daylight savings time is coming. When does that start? When does that start? Yeah, right now I'm just hoping I didn't tear my MCL or my ACL or my meniscus. When's daylight savings time? Is it November 2nd, if I remember correctly? Okay, so it's November 5th, right? I was close. I thought it was November something. It's November 5th. Look at NVIDIA bounce. So this is probably causing a bounce in markets too. So this is probably causing a bounce in markets. Pretty green day yesterday overall for everything here too. We can take a look at the SPY here as well today. SPY up to 434s. Yeah, they should get rid of daylight savings, bro. Just let the days be how they are, man. Like, you don't need to make it all confusing. Like, I don't want to lose an hour, bro. I love it when I gain an hour, but I hate it when I lose an hour. There's too much back and forth. I'd rather just keep it normal. All right, guys. So Dude, my throat hurts. That sucks. Again, Tesla at 253s. How much will Tesla dump after earnings? Yeah, you can send it to me on Discord if you want, Bob. Good morning. Thought they got rid of daylight savings. Yeah, I don't know, man. We still got a couple weeks until it ends. A couple weeks. What's up, Polaris? It'll look like midnight at 6 p.m. soon on the East Coast. I like it when it gets dark, bro. I'm really like a night owl, dude. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I own some Tesla. I'm holding some Tesla. I mean, we're green on our Tesla share too. Our average price for Tesla is $240. But yeah, so I'm a night person. I really like the night more. Vampire-esque, you know. All right, so again, we got a little dip rejection. This is why you watch the volume weighted average price team. Like, you can kind of see stocks go right up to this level, reject. And so the volume weighted average price is a very relevant spot, a very relevant thing that you probably want to pay attention to. All right, guys. I got Tesla at 110 last year. Nice. I think there's bad earnings priced in on Tesla, so it's not clear that it even goes down after bad earnings. Maybe. What's that paying a T? Yeah, I mean, Tesla here, when we look at it, it's had a pretty good 6 months. When we look at the year's a little bit worse, but it's still green overall. It opened up the year at about 220s, 230s, 220s, and now it's at 250s, 260s. Went as high as almost 300 throughout the year. If we put up a longer term chart, obviously it's pretty solid. And the long term chart looks good. This is one of those rare penny stocks that actually does something. But earnings today, you know, one of the shocking things that you can kind of see from them is that they're only expecting 75 cents a share, which is just weird. It's just strange. Like 75 cents a share is not that much. They've got 3.74 billion shares out there. So what you realize is like per share, in yearly profit, they're expecting 3,174,000,000. Okay. And so just in net, they're expecting about 2.4 billion per share in net profit, about 2.4 billion per share in net profit. They've got about 3.174 billion shares. And so PE ratio is about 72 right now. So it's a little high. Bought 1,000 Tesla at 18. Yeah, it's all good. These things are hard to predict, to be honest. It's all good. Again, Morgan Stanley earnings are supposed to drop, I believe, at 7:45. Yeah, so Morgan Stanley earnings 7:45. We'll see if they come out good or bad. What's up, Jay? Yeah. Yeah, so again, the SPY started to bounce up a little bit, low volume day, but we're starting to get some rebounds here. I think the whole market's waiting on two specific stocks today. Again, Tesla this evening, Morgan Stanley this morning. We also have Abbott dropping in about 11 minutes. Abbott Laboratories, also known as the largest anti-cannabis lobbying company in the world. Abbott Laboratories, terrible company. Personally, I think they're terrible. I think they're terrible because they just get paid to keep something illegal that should be clearly legal to benefit big pharma. That's what you dislike about them. We also have Ally earnings dropping at 7:25 in like 5 minutes. We got Ally Financial. We got M&T dropped earlier. State Street drops in about 20 minutes or so. Yeah. And so we got 10 minutes before these drop. Again, Morgan Stanley at 7:30, Abbott at 7:30, Northern Trust, and a couple other ones later on today. I use Quantower. Check out some of our videos, Jay. We got some good volume weighted average price videos. We've got some good strategy videos, pattern videos, all that indicator videos. We got a good VWAP. My favorite indicator is the volume weighted average price. And again, you can kind of see why. Here's the VWAP right here. It's this purple line. And you can kind of see stocks move right up to it, reject, you know. And so I like shorting. It's called a VWAP fade or a VWAP pullback, where we pull back to the VWAP and then reject back down. But I got to get a lot of video content on it, man. So check those out. They're pretty solid. Yeah, so this is TOS. I also use Quant Tower for futures on Top Step. I bought a June 120, 2024 call option and a handful of smaller March 24 Tesla puts as a hedge. Thanks to sideways trading, they're all red. Yeah, it happens. After earnings, we're probably sideways right now from earnings. Yeah, so I'm watching my equities portfolio go up and down. We're slightly down on the day, but we're not really moving that much. Kind of coincides with what I see in the market right now. Again, here's Tesla. We can also look at Apple. I'm trying to find some other news stories on the day. There's Apple. Apple down again. Apple been kind of pulling back some. You know, was almost to 180s again, or was over 180s a couple days ago, and now is back down. And you can kind of see, I think we're in this little trend now for Apple. I'm not sure when we're going to break this trend. Oh man, what'd I do? But yeah, so there's Apple. We also look at the Q, the NASDAQ here. Again, all of these are going to be red today, but very flat day. I think a lot of stuff's just waiting for Netflix. Netflix also releases their earnings today as well. So Netflix at 353s. Gold's still rising. Where's gold doing today? I'm holding a little bit of gold. Yeah, I'm green on gold today. Gold has been rising a lot, man. Look at gold. So here's gold. Gold up to 1950s here, which is great. I mean, I'm in gold, so I hope it goes up. And it has been, which is nice. The only problem is like there's sometimes a correlation between this and the market and equities altogether, but it varies. What's up, Chill? Oil. Let's take a look at oil here. Oil still moving up. Yeah, oil at 112s. Or Exxon at 112s. So Exxon gapping up again today too. And I'm in Exxon, so that's nice. I've just been kind of sitting on that one though. Hello, do we think interest rates will have one more rise this year? Well, the Fed thinks that. That's what the Fed said, right? So the Fed said they think we'll raise interest rates at least once this year. Now, we don't know if we actually are going to or not, but they think we're going to. So they put out the expectation for that. The Fed minutes report showed a little bit of that as well. somebody's trying to steal my card and like use my card. It's never gonna work, you know. But it's like they're trying nonetheless, you know. Like I'm just gonna lock. I've already locked down my card to where nobody can make purchases unless they have this code, and they don't have the code. But yeah, they're still trying to make the code, you know. Yeah, I mean, if we look at Treasury yields, 10-year yield is up to 4.8%, 4.84%, almost 4.85%. So Treasury yields have been pushing up. You know, a lot of people have been talking about that. Again, Tesla, pretty flat, man. I mean, you can kind of see the choppiness we got this morning, going down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You know, pretty boring price action. Again, Morgan Stanley numbers are about to come out right now. U.S. Bank dropped, again, their numbers. We're still waiting for MS numbers. They're scheduled to release in about 3 minutes. 3 minutes till Morgan Stanley numbers, guys. What's AMC doing? I'm in AMC too. Oh, slight green day yesterday, kind of flat right now. Looks all right. All right, let's do a poll here. I don't think I did a poll. Tesla earnings come in better or worse than expected? That's what we're going to ask this afternoon. Question, better, worse, as expected, and then I don't know what's going to be the final option. Go. Let me know what you think. There's the numbers. What's up, George? All right, guys, here goes Morgan Stanley numbers. We got a minute and a half left. It's not, no doubt, for I think eventually accept 3%. No, 64% are clicking worse, 20% think better, 8% think as expected, and 8% say I don't know. But I will say this: the chat doesn't necessarily have the best record in terms of votes. You know, like the chat's not really the most accurate gauge. Hey, slap the like button if you can, guys. We got 50 seconds left. All right, guys, so here we go. Morgan Stanley earnings scheduled to release in about 10 seconds. Let's see what we get. All right, so here we go. There's the numbers. Waiting. All right, so there they at. 138 EPS for Morgan Stanley. 138. We're going to put Morgan Stanley up 138 EPS on revenue of 13.3 billion. Again, 138 EPS on revenue of 13.3 billion. They expected 127, so better than expected EPS. 13.35 billion revenue. So they missed revenue. Beat EPS is what Morgan Stanley did. They missed revenue, beat EPS. And then they had a bunch of other data points. Third quarter wealth management net revenue, 6.4 billion. Investment management revenue 1.3 billion, asset management net revenue 5.03 billion, investment banking rev 1.05 billion, return on average common equity 10%, wealth management pre-tax margin 26.7%, non-compensation expenses 4.06 billion, institutional security equity revenue 2.51 billion, third quarter net 2.4 billion. And so, yeah, Morgan Stanley. Abbott Laboratories out with their numbers as well. We'll put these numbers up in chat. But Morgan Stanley had mixed results. They beat EPS, missed sales. And then we also had Abbott as well. Yeah, don't trade off of chat votes. Yeah, for sure. All right, so there's Abbott. Again, Morgan Stanley just released. Procter & Gamble CEO says every category grew in sales in the quarter and set up well to deliver high end towards fiscal year 24 guidance. But yeah, Morgan Stanley mixed results. A GAAP EPS of 138 down from 147 year over year. Sales of 13.27 beat the 12.58 billion estimate. So I guess I'm seeing different estimates here, but it's all good. GAAP stands for generally accepted accounting principles. So I'm just going to post what they have here. I thought they were mixed. But third quarter provision for credit losses at 134 million, up from 35 million year over year. Morgan Stanley dumping down and then pulling up a little bit. So this is the first bank earning I've seen that's actually reacted negatively. The first bank earnings that I've seen that didn't do well. The rest of the bank stocks did pretty well. And I don't think that's the end of bank stocks necessarily. Let's see what else we got. We got some other ones potentially dropping. All right, guys. Again, Tesla at 253s. Morgan Stanley at 79. All right, so Morgan Stanley back up to 79. Tesla over the 200 EMA now, so bouncing back up some. Again, State Street just released their numbers. We'll put those numbers up on stream. State Street out with theirs. There goes Morgan Stanley right back up here, basically where it was prior to this. So interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at the MS numbers. Yeah, EPS was better than expected. Revenue seems to be down, though. Well, 200 to 300 is a pretty big range, Chill. Yeah, it's a very big range. It's a 50% range. All right, so Morgan Stanley back up. We're watching Tesla here too. Again, Tesla drops their earnings as well. All right, so now we got building permit and housing start data. John, when you say 200 EMA, are you referring to 1 minute chart? Yeah, I'm looking at a 1 minute chart just because that's the most recent price action that we get. But I'm using a lot of different time frames. Like we can use a 15-minute chart and see where the 200 EMA is. But most of the time, like scalping based off of the 200 EMA on a 1 minute chart does me really well. Like, you know, like I think we made more money yesterday too after we closed the stream. I'm trying to think of how much money we made yesterday. I know we're pretty close to getting funded in a third one right now. I'll have to see exactly where we were on Top Step, but I think we're pretty close to getting funded on a third one. Look at Morgan Stanley try to hold the VWAP, testing the VWAP now. Look at Tesla still rise though. Oh, which one is all right, so let me pull this down. Try to see which one I'm almost funded in on this one. We're very close. There it is. I think it's this one. Yeah, I mean, so here's where I am on this account right now. So here's my third account. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get funded today, but you can kind of see my stats, right? So I thought we were pretty close, right? So we are at, we're about halfway there, right? About halfway there. So, you know, you can kind of see, this is how we started it. We made a little bit, lost a little bit one day. Yeah, it made a little bit yesterday to where we made $826 net. You can kind of see our stats here when we trade. I wonder if I'm better on the NASDAQ. You can see our average winning trade, we're up 64.25. Our average, we're up 64%. Our losing trade's a little bit larger. So this is the biggest problem. Our risk to reward ratio is about 1 to 1.37. So not bad still. Let's see the E-mini. I'm curious to see which one. All right, so it looks like we're losing more trading the E-mini. The NASDAQ. Okay, so yeah, it's basically the same stat. I mean, it's a good trend. Like you can kind of see we are up 67 winning accuracy. So we could do a little bit better, I think, here. But we're getting close. Like we're getting close. They might let us get funded today. I don't know if I want to push it. You know. Let's see, I got a couple other accounts too, I think, right? Yeah, Tesla moving up. Morgan Stanley still right at that volume weighted average price spot. So we'll see what we get. I like the trend right now. I think we got to watch Morgan Stanley pretty close. ARDA drop just popped. Hey, what's up, Ricky? What time does Tesla earnings come out? Tesla earnings drop this evening. Yeah, they're scheduled for like 4:10 or something like that. So. Hey, what's up, Rod? Yeah, I'm looking at any like recent news releases. All right, so I'm seeing Tesla dip. Look at Tesla pull back to the 200 EMA. Here's Morgan Stanley trying to hold here, but yeah, Tesla earnings dropped this evening. And so there's Morgan Stanley dipping some here. So there's a Morgan Stanley pullback. Look at this dip under the volume weighted average price. Look at Tesla try to hold. So we're watching Morgan Stanley. We can also look at the SPY or the Q to see what's going on, but we do have housing starts and building permits in about an hour. Are we booming today? Definitely not yet. There's Tesla pops. So Tesla's holding. And then we can also see NVIDIA. We're watching bank earnings a lot right now. What's up, Al? Market's coming back down too. It's pretty early in pre-market right now. The NASDAQ looks like a McDonald's sign, so I don't know if there's really any edge. Here's the SPY. So SPY very flat too, rejecting at the VWAP again. Yeah, we'll see if Tesla pulls back. Again, Morgan Stanley out with their numbers here. SPY very flat. I guess the whole market's waiting for Tesla. Morgan Stanley's starting to dip down. This might be influenced in the market right here too. And the SPY's down. It's just slow. I'm looking at the E-mini a little bit closer in the NASDAQ as well. But like when you look at like the E-mini, you see a little bit clearer, you know, where we're rejecting at the 200 EMA on the E-mini. It's flat, boring. If Tesla's going to cut price shoot, let me go. Yes, we'll see. Teslas are cool, man. Again, I think Tesla, the thing you're betting on, again, I talked about this yesterday, but the thing you're betting on when you invest in a Tesla is the FSD, the full self-driving. Like that's going to be big in the next like 20 years. You know, that's going to take over the world. That's going to obviously be the future. And with that, the question you have to ask yourself regarding Tesla is, when do they accomplish that efficiently? Like when does the efficiency of full self-driving play out in which people are using it regularly is the question. And again, I don't know when that efficiency plays out. I don't know when they get that done. I don't know when they get it finalized. What I do know is that the person or the company that's probably going to do it is Tesla, as well as it's going to be in the next 20 years, almost certainly, right? So those are two things that I do know, and overall, that's going to be good for Tesla if they can accomplish it soon, you know. But the question is when. The other question is, when is the Cybertruck coming out? If they delay it again, I think a lot of people are going to lose optimism. You know, I think optimism is going to go down if they don't debut the Cybertruck soon, like they've been telling everybody they would, specifically this year. You know, they told everybody they would probably debut it last year, and that never happened. And now they're saying they'll probably debut it this year. And, you know, I feel like if they don't debut it this year, I feel like I think that something's wrong if it doesn't come out this year. Like if we don't start really seeing some updates on when it's going to drop, I think there's problems going on their front. No, let me stop. I don't know if I can see myself driving an EV. Yeah, well, I mean, again, the point is not you driving it. The point is it drives itself pretty soon, you know. GM just announced a 1-year delay in their EV truck. Yeah, and it might have to do with margins. Like margins are going to play a big factor with all this stuff too, especially with like inflation, prices and margin influence, manufacturing problems, stuff like that. Like that's all going to be a big influence. What's up, Doug? Hey, slap the like button, guys. We already got 65 likes. If we could break 100, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, we're watching the E-mini, watching the NASDAQ here. Again, we can watch Goldman. Here's Goldman Sachs. Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley's still weighing down, though. It's at $78 a share. So Morgan Stanley's still struggling. So we'll see if we can get some better movement here. Yeah, sorry about this music. I don't know what this music is, but... Do you see RTY after the open yesterday? Yeah, again, the whole market's pretty slow. I want to show this market, no volume, no volatility, no price action. Yeah, I mean, Bao, it's fun, but you've been so bearish lately, to a point where it's like, again, one thing I always look for is diversity in viewpoints, right? If somebody's just always bearish, every day's bearish, everything they say is bearish, then I just think they're trying to influence their own positions, or, you know what I mean? Like, and again, it's all love here, brother. It's all love here, dude. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Like, you don't want to be too rigid in only one direction, I guess is the point. You know what I mean? Especially if you're day trading. Day trading, market goes up, market goes down. Yesterday, specifically on the SPY, for instance, here, we had a pretty good day after the open. So yesterday, the market bounced all the way back up to like 430s, pulled back a little bit too. So yeah, for sure. I don't think it's under. I think when the Cybertruck comes out, it's not going to underperform, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's going to underperform. Like, I think that it's going to break sales records most likely. But again, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong for sure. I genuinely don't know on that front. All right, so I'm gonna have to mute the music for a sec. Yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried. Yeah, so I'm kind of torn. So Sam Bankman-Fried's attorney petitioned the court to allow him to take Adderall. I'm kind of like, listen, as somebody who like I battle with ADHD heavily. Um, I always have. My son battles for it or with it heavily. Uh, you know, I'm kind of torn on like whether I think this is gonna be a good or bad thing. I'm at the stance where just like let him freaking take it, bro. Like I'm okay, take it, dude. Go ahead and take it, man. I'm not mad at you if you take your Adderall, bro. I don't think they should be blocking somebody from taking specific medication because when you can't take it, it's gonna be even worse. But how do you spell Adderall? There it is. All right, so we made a little bit crypto news. How do you spell Adderall? Now I don't even know. I thought it was different. Adderall. Oh. So what I'm learning is that nobody knows how to spell Adderall. Yep. All right. All right. So sorry. There we go. Post that. All right. All right, guys. So market's kind of flat, boring, neutral, not really doing anything. Sideways. Tesla earnings today. We got housing starts and building permit data at 8:30. Yeah. Again, I'm not really against people taking medication. Yeah, Kevin, and I wish it was that easy, bro. Like a lot of people are just like spank them, spank your kids if they don't pay attention. And like, no offense, but that just doesn't work. Like, as an example of that, right? Like, some kids are just different. And again, people might not understand what I said by that. Like, bro, when I was growing up, sometimes my parents would spank me, right? And I didn't care. I would much rather get spanked and be able to, regardless of how heavy it was, right? Like I would much rather get spanked and then go on with the rest of my day than some other type of punishment, right? So my parents realized very quickly, like they would spank me and I would turn around and be like, that didn't hurt. And even if it really hurt and like they went like super heavy, I'd be like, nah, that didn't hurt. Like, like I would mock them and all this different stuff, right? And so what they realized very quickly was that spanking didn't really work for me, right? You can spank me as much as you want. I wasn't gonna bend or break or whatever they wanted me to do. I wasn't gonna apologize. And so what they realized they could do to me is like, again, I have ADHD, so I get bored very easily. What they realized they could do is they would stick me in my room and they would ground me with no TV for hours and hours and hours, right? And that was like the 7 gates of hell for me. Like I hated that. That was way worse of a punishment than spanking ever could be, And so and again, also when you look at it like a psychological perspective, the happiest kids are usually kids that have an authoritative parent or authoritative parents. which means firm but fair. It means like you're not super aggro with them, but you're also firm. And so if you say something, you mean it and you kind of do it, right? Like if you're too lax on them, they're going to be unhappy, right? If you are too strict on them, they're going to be too happy. So the sweet spot is obviously somewhere in the middle, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it just depends on the kid, man. It's not, you can't all do the same thing. Yeah, so we made a little bit of money here. Like I said, we ended up losing in one of my accounts today for sure, but we're up in this on the other account. So we are up, as you can kind of see, we are up about 550, 540, 530 on this one. Kind of slowly grinding this one up. Oh, for sure, 100% Shepherd. You know, and I truly am a type of person that believes in dopamine detox, right? Like I think one of the problems is like we got so many, like if you ever look back, like one of the ways you can tell this is if you look back at history and you see some of the stuff people wrote in history, right? Like if you see some of the written works of authors and writers and love letters between spouses and like there's a lot of examples of writing being much more beautiful and much more creative hundreds of years ago than it ever would be now, right? And maybe the beautiful part of it is all relative to the way they spoke back then relative to now, but when you look back, people were just more creative back then. Why? It's because they didn't have a freaking TV distracting them 24/7. You know, the problem is like the human brain, in order to be creative, it can't be overstimulated. And there's so much different bright lights and TVs and video games and you know, animations today that it's very difficult to spark that creativity in some people now because they're just overloaded with stimulus. And so what a lot of people do, specifically writers, inventors, people that need to be creative, what they do is they detox themselves from all of that stimuli, I should say, and you know, wait. And when you can do that, it's one of the reasons like people get mad at me for watching baseball. Baseball is great in that regard because baseball is mostly boring most of the time. Like most of the time you watch baseball, it's boring. There's not really much going on. Like you just kind of sit there. Okay, some games are really boring, but I think that kind of refreshes my dopamine system. And then when they hit a homer, it's even more exciting because the last hour and a half has been boring. But yeah, I don't know how much building permits are going to affect gold, but yeah, for sure, Corey. Yeah, it really just depends on the kid, man. I've never been a big spanker of my kids. Like, I thought there were better ways to discipline than spanking. You know, I didn't think it was necessary. I think I could take away video games from my son, and that's going to be a much worse punishment than anything else ever could be. All right, guys. But again, market's flat right now. Morgan Stanley, we're still keeping an eye on it. We're also looking at Tesla and some other stuff. But again, market's kind of boring. Tesla flat, SPY flat. We do have building permit data and housing starts in 30 minutes. Basically Polaris. Yeah, it's basically cricket is the most ridiculous sport ever though. There's so many rules. Maybe I'm just, you know, I don't know. Basketball and football. Football is definitely good. I'm a big MMA fan, so I like MMA, UFC, some grappling. Like I've been watching jiu-jitsu a lot lately, but that's just my latest interest. So MMA, mostly like football is probably my main one. I watch baseball a lot too. It just depends on what's going on. There's so many games in baseball. There's no way I'm going to catch every game. So a lot of the time I'll just watch the playoffs. Don't remind me of the Astros. All right. Don't remind me of the Astros. Astros choking, man, about to get swept. I don't want them to get swept. Their last game is today. Not the last game. If they win today and they win tomorrow, we're back to break even. But again, the Rangers are just good this year, man. And I'm okay with the Rangers winning. I'd rather the Rangers win than the Dodgers or somebody, I have a feeling Tesla would do great on earnings. I hope so. I really do. Abuse at home creates a bully at school. I don't know. Maybe sometimes from experience from other people, right? Like I've seen this with a lot. Like a lot of the time what creates bullies is it's hard to explain, but like I see a lot of bullies at my kids' school from parents who are older, that were much older when they had the kid. Like if you have your kid at 40 and they're an only child, right? Those are some unbalanced kids a lot of the time. I'm not saying all of them. Like again, if that's your situation, I'm not judging. Like y'all might be different. It's all good. But I've noticed some bullies sprout up from like only childs whose parents had them much later in life. You know what I mean? And you got to understand, like when you look at the psychology of it, it's almost like they had the kids so late and they didn't know if they were going to be able to have kids. And so they finally had a kid and it was really late and he was the only child. And so he's just acting like he is just God's gift to the world. You know what I mean? And then a lot of the time those kids turn into bullies because they think they're God's gift to the world and they're better than everybody and they can, make fun of others and like all that different stuff. I see that a lot too, but I think there's a spectrum of it. I think it ranges. Like I think some kids, same thing, like bad stuff happens at home and then they lash out when they get to school. I'm sure that's probably true too. Anyways, Tesla dipping down a little bit. Tesla at the volume weighted average price. Again, there's the SPY on the right, mostly flat morning. I mean, there's just not really any price action. Just to show you the price action we're getting right now. Maybe oil's moving better, but like that's what we're getting right here over the last like couple hours. And so it's really boring to trade. We've made a little bit on one account, lost a little bit on the other, to be honest. And so proves markets and major participants are not that sophisticated. Well, it's all based off of psychology, I think, to a certain extent, right? To watch, it's bad. I don't know, man. Yeah, 100% Shepherd. I think it depends on what type of bullying. Like psychological torment is the example I use is probably more resulting in psychological torment versus physical ones. Probably parents are being too physical with the kid at home, and so they're releasing that when they get to school. There's a lot of examples of it. It's really nuanced and Yeah, we'll see if the rental market fixes itself. So who won the? So the Phillies beat the Diamondbacks, right? Oh yeah. So, man, the Phillies are gonna make it to the World Series again. I just hope the Rangers beat them. I like Bryce Harper, but I'm rooting for the Texas team. All right, guys, ExxonMobil at 112. So oil pushing up a little bit. Market's very sideways, though. I don't know if the market's waiting for housing starts and building permit data, which, again, are scheduled to release in 23 minutes. Yeah, Phillies are doing good, man. Gold, yeah, gold's having a really good morning. I mean, maybe I should be trading gold because the rest of the market's pretty boring. Gold up to 1960 right now. Look at gold; it had a crazy run this morning, and it's good for me. Like it's kind of hedging against some of the other equity losses I've taken, right? So I'm down today, but I would be down much more if it wasn't for gold. So that's nice. We'll see if it holds. Yeah, this market's boring. Again, it's probably just because Tesla earnings are released later, though. So the market's kind of waiting on Tesla earnings, which will be a big influence over markets overall, too. Yeah, so we're looking at crazy stuff going on overseas. How about defense stocks? How are defense stocks doing? Again, RTX, we're pretty flat in that. We were holding a couple shares of it, and it's been pretty neutral the last couple of days. We're basically where we were on the 13th of October, almost a week ago. Again, we got 20 minutes before housing starts and building permits drop. All right, guys. Gold up to 1962. Tesla's still back over volume weighted average price 200 DMA level, but still pretty boring. Can y'all hear the music? Okay, yeah, I muted it. Good. Gold is ripping. Yeah, gold's up a lot. Banks, Morgan Stanley dropped numbers, and they're gapping down. It's one of the biggest negative reactions we've seen in banks. Most of the other bank stocks did really well. So it's one of the only bank stocks that All right, guys, gold, Tesla. How's the S&P 500? What's the NASDAQ doing here? NASDAQ's slightly down. And again, I guess the whole market's waiting for this. We also have Powell speaking tomorrow, right? So Powell speaking tomorrow is big. Powell speaking tomorrow is at, I believe it's at noon market time. And so that might be a big influence over market as well. We're going to stream the whole thing. All right. If you guys see anything else moving better, let me know. Let me catch back up with the chat. I want the $5,000 to $6,000 price range tickets. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think with money, you know, it happens. Like, again, I always talked about it before. I used to. You don't feel any different when you make more money. You know, like I used to just really crave making $40,000 a year, like a long time ago. And then I started making it, and then you crave making more, and then you make more. And then, you know, it becomes eventually, it just becomes numb. Like you don't really live better from the extra money after a certain level. You know, it just becomes, you could save more, which is good. Like I just kind of put it up and put it away. And I'm not claiming to be the richest guy ever or anything like that. Like that's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to say money's not everything. It's really not. Yeah, I used to play ice hockey as a kid. I wasn't good at it. I was terrible at it. All right, so the IRS is going to officially launch a free online tax filing service for the 2024 tax season, according to More Perfect Union. Taxpayers in up to 13 states will be able to join the pilot. Hey, honestly, sign me up, bro. That way, if they make a mistake, I can just be like, IRS, it's on you. So Bank of America had an unrealized loss of over $130 billion. Probably from all these rate hikes. Yeah, the world's crazy right now, man. And yeah, we got 14 minutes or so until these numbers drop. The Q bouncing back up a little bit. So the Q's actually climbing up. Gold, again, still doing really well. So here's the NASDAQ, the Q. It's climbing back up some. It's right at the 200 EMA now. Let's see if it actually holds. All right, so we get the Q right at the 200 EMA. Big level. Let's see if we hold the spot. This pump is not fair. Manipulation. I mean, listen, like I said, I'm going to preface this bow with like, it's all good, bro. Like, it's all love here. You can have your opinion, but I'm going to state mine here. I get bears. Like, I think certain people are just manipulated by the media, right? To where they think that we're just in some never-ending downward move. Like, the market's just always going to go down. We're in some inevitable crash situation constantly, always. And so when the market moves up, they say manipulation. And, you know, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Nobody cries manipulation more than somebody who is wrong about directional predictions. You know, you see it with AMC a lot, right? AMC, they said it was going to hit $1,000 a share. What did they cry when it went down? Manipulation. And so I don't know if I believe that, brother. It's all good. Like I said, I just disagree. I think the market's going to go up long term. And like, if you're betting against that, you know, you're betting against the biggest statistical edge the market ever gives you, brother. You know, and maybe we drop down, maybe we crash in between then. But I don't know if constantly betting on bearish action every day and then saying manipulation when the market goes up is going to be a good move, dude. You know? I'm bullish on Mullen. Okay, now you just got to be trolling me. If you find yourself betting against the market long term on the upside and instead betting for terrible, obscure penny stocks that are terrible companies on the upside, if you're betting on penny stocks on the upside and the broad market on the downside long term, that's backwards. You know, that's backwards. But hey, all good. Yeah, for sure. Market's going to go up over time. It's designed to go up. That's inevitable. Like, that's what's going to happen. It's going to go up over time. That's just kind of what happens in markets. Markets move up over time for no other reason aside from the fact that inflation happens over time, right? Your dollars are valued less over time. So, of course, the market's going to move up. And it's not even going to be like a super good thing. It just means the market's going to go up. Right, exactly, Brandon. Yeah, I think Twitter's actually trying to get rid of the bots. Oh yeah, I mean, if you buy most penny stocks, right? But again, I look at it as like, how gullible are people? Like, some people are just really gullible. I'm not saying that's you, Bao. Like, it's all love here. I'm not saying that's you, but I think a lot of people who get talked into investing into penny stocks are gullible. I think a couple things. I think they don't have that much money, right? And so they're more biased towards investing in total crap companies because they don't have as much money and the crap companies are cheaper, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is that these companies will put out really persuasive marketing. They'll act like they're just the greatest stock ever. Like, they'll have a gang of like supporters that are just like, yeah, this stock's going to go up 1,000%. Just watch, right? And so if they pander to people's desire to get rich, and they tell people that, again, look at the Wolf of Wall Street. There's no better example than watching the Wolf of Wall Street, which is a true story, right? Like Jordan Belfort would go to the pink sheet market where he would make 50% returns, right? He would make 50%. So if he sold $10,000 in stock, he made 5,000 of that. So he made a 50% split, which is a crazy big split, right? And what he would tell people, he would tell basic blue collar workers that they could get rich if they bought these penny stocks, and that these penny stocks were going to go up crazy amounts, and they were going to be able to pay their mortgage with it. And you were going to pay their mortgage in that, great cutting edge firm and like all this different nonsense, right? But he would basically pander to their desire to get rich and talk them into buying really speculative, obscure, small companies that were almost certainly going to fail long term. Right. And again, people ate it up hook, line, and sinker. It's nothing new that's going on now in the penny stock market. Like, it's nothing new. It's just it's been going on for a century now. But I think it's important for people to understand, like, don't be gullible. Like, be smart. Like, understand these are like, you're not going to make money most of the time investing in these companies. And you got to understand how people might be trying to trick you into investing into these companies, because misery loves company. If I'm down a big percentage in a penny stock, I might want a bunch of other people to buy that penny stock so I feel better about holding it. That happens a lot too. All right, guys. Hey, we got 7 minutes before housing started building permits. We got about 500 people here. Slap the like button if you can. We appreciate it. And again, it's all love, Bow. I don't want you to think I'm targeting you. I'm trying to help. Like, I'm trying to help people snap out of it. Like, even if you have a small amount of money, you're going to do better investing small amounts of money into broad market ETFs, gold, real estate, the S&P 500, Apple, Amazon, than you're ever going to get investing into ABC penny stock. Yeah, speculative was a kind way of saying it, for sure. But I mean, that's what most of these penny stocks are. OCGN, you got freaking dry ships, you got freaking SOS, you got freaking, like, there's just so many terrible companies that I've seen over the years that they just go straight down. Mullen is a great example of it. Mullen, where people were hyping up Mullen. Like, look at the long-term chart. Just look at a weekly chart, guys. Like, look at this chart. Like, this is the long-term chart of Mullen. So number one, what do you see here? Crazy prices means this thing has been diluted crazy amounts. If it says $3,600, it's been diluted crazy amounts. Like, they've diluted shares so much, right? And then even with that dilution, the price has gone from crazy high down to 36 cents. And this is a post-split price too, which means it's even worse than that. So. All right, guys, here we go. We got 6 minutes. AMC at 977s. Oh, yeah, definitely prevalent in crypto. Yeah. Except for pharma companies, those products actually save lives. Well, some of them do. Some of them are total nonsense, though. It's not like we can't paint them all with a broad brush. Like, there's always going to be outliers. But even in pharmaceutical and biotech stocks, right, a lot of them are just terrible companies. And they're going to put out sensationalized marketing trying to talk dumb people into buying them. Not for dumb is not the right word. Gullible people into buying them, right? Dumb's not right. I don't think they're actually dumb. I think they're just I think they're easily swayed by marketing and nonsense. But dumb's not the right word. But my point is, some of them are going to succeed, and you're going to have outliers. But it might be 0.5% of them actually go up long term. You know what I mean? Like, literally 0.5%, maybe. All right, we got 4 minutes here. 4 minutes. buying 10 to 50 shares, trying to make 50 to 75%. Yeah, but that would mean that you need to be right. That would mean that you need at least 1 and 2 of them to succeed, or at the very least 1 and 4, either 1 and 2 or 1 and 4 to succeed based off of those percentages, Bow. Right? And I'll tell you this, 1 and 4 penny stocks, generally from what I've seen, do not succeed. Okay? 1 and 4 penny stocks do not succeed. Definitely not 1 out of 2. Like, definitely not 50% of them succeed. 25% of them certainly don't succeed. And so, again, when you look at it like that, it's still a very obvious losing thing. Like, a large majority of people will lose on it because, 1 out of 4 penny stocks do not succeed long term. And again, that's I think I would say maybe 1 in 20 penny stocks have some success, but I think it's probably less than that, to be honest, based off of just the ones I've looked at. And maybe I'm biased against them, but again, just think about it. Like, you could look back at the trends of how many people have been pumping penny stocks, calling out these penny stocks, saying this one's different, this one's different, this one's different. And then you look at the graph, and the graph just goes straight down over time. You learn it wasn't different. They're just trying to talk people into buying it. Smile Direct Club. Yeah, what is SDC? Yeah. Smile Direct Club, great example, bro. Like, a year ago, people were saying this penny stock was different. This one's going to go to the moon, guys. And now it's at 7 cents a share. You look at a long-term chart, and it's even worse, man. All right, guys, here we go. We got 2 minutes here, 2 minutes before housing start building permit data drops. We'll see if we get anything good. 2 minutes. Yeah, USB earnings have been out. All right, guys, 1.5 minutes. Gold's flying up right now. I'm in gold. It's kind of a hedge against my equities, but I'm in gold right now. Gold's ripping up, breaking highs at 1962 right now. So gold looks great. Gold looks great. And again, I'm glad I'm holding it because it's hedging against my equities dropping this morning. But again, we're going to put this chart up. We got 1 minute left here, guys. 1 minute left. We got about 500 people here. Again, slap the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. All right, so here we go. We got 20 seconds. Yeah, we can look at the dollar index up while this numbers drop as well. There's the Dixie on the left. Again, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Again, they're expected at 1.455 million. 1.455 million. All right, so here we go. And here's the release right here. See if these affect the market. They probably won't. All right, so there's the release. Okay, building permits came in at 1.473 million, higher than expected building permit. Housing starts came in at 7%, which was much more positive than last time here, much more positive than last time. So again, building permits came in higher than expected at 1.473 million, 1.473 million. They did decrease about 4.5% month to month. Housing starts came in at 7%. Again, much more profitable than expected as well. But again, we'll put this number up. Building permits, again, came in at 1.473 versus 1.45 expected. All right, again, we're going to put this number up right here. Again, we're going to put this number up right there. You can kind of see it. And then what else we got? Then we can put housing starts as well, coming in at 7%. So this is the data right here, guys. Again, slap the like button, hit the subscribe button. Markets somewhat reacted positively to it. It's not a crazy good reaction though, but here's the SPY up to 434.60s, 434.60s. Again, if you haven't already, check out the Top Step Combine right now. Top Step, they give you a demo, test your skill. If you can hit the target on the demo in futures while following their rules and conditions without hitting the max loss, they fund you between $50,000 up to $150K with a 90% split. There's free funding, coaches, and a ton of great resources. And taking these challenges, build your skill. In the futures market, you can day trade, and there's no PDT restriction. Like here's the NASDAQ, right, which is basically the Q. It's the same price action as the Q, but there's no PDT rule. And the patterns are very similar to large cap stocks. So you can essentially get exposure to day trading stocks. You can day trade the NASDAQ. You can day trade the S&P 500. You can day trade currencies. Gold and silver patterns are very similar to stocks, but there's no PDT restrictions. And Top Step's the most legit funded program in the world. They give you a demo, test your skill. Base one's $50K. It's only $49. If you lose, you're only out $49. If you're good enough to pass it, you can get $50K in funding with a 90% split. You get to keep your first $10K in profit as well. And they pay out millions every year, fund thousands of traders a year. They've been around for over a decade. It's a great way to learn how to trade with limited risk, with much less risk. Like I lost thousands of dollars when I first started learning day trading. Putting up the money myself, I lost thousands of dollars. This is just a noticeably cheaper way to get started. Most people are going to lose, but again, most people lose day trading. And so it doesn't matter whether they go on Top Step or not. Most day traders lose. And it's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step than it is to put the money up yourself. And so again, if you want to check it out, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. They are a sponsor of mine. And so I'm incredibly biased in their favor because they pay me money. You want to confirm everything I said with them, of course, but great company, great way to help support the channel. There's the link. Check it out. All right, look at the NASDAQ dump down. Look at the SPY fall down. The dollar index is moving up a little bit too. So we are getting some negative reactions here now. A little bit of a delayed response. Look at the Dixie, which is the dollar index moving up. All right, so ACT test scores fell to the lowest level in 32 years, according to Axios. So yeah, now the average ACT test score is 19.5. 19.5. I took the ACT. It's actually a very funny story. And I think I've told it before. But like I was like a slacker in high school. Like I just didn't do well, I'll say. I didn't try is what it was. Like I didn't try. I love my parents, but they didn't really make sure. I mean, I'm not blaming them. It was my fault completely, right? But my parents were very lax, and so I just didn't really try. My dad tried, but it is what it is. Maybe again, it's not their fault at all. But anyways, when I went to take my ACT, I partied the night before. I was young, man. I was 18. I had moved away from my home, and I had to take the ACT for college admissions or whatever. So and again, I was just dumb, man. I was just dumb. I just kind of partied the whole night before, stayed up all night until like 7 a.m. Didn't get any sleep, literally no sleep. Stayed up all night, no sleep. Inebriated is a kind way of saying it. I was inebriated. And I go take my ACT. And again, I had like some other friends of mine, like these girls that I knew that were also taking their ACT the next day, and so they went to bed and like studied and like drank orange juice in the morning and like, did what they were supposed to do. And I didn't. I stayed up all night, didn't get any sleep. We had a party at my house and like did a bunch of stuff, and it was, dumb, completely dumb of me. Anyways, the next morning, my dad calls me and he's like, hey, bro, you got to go take your ACT. And I'm already awake. And I'm like, all right, dude, like, I'll go take it. But I didn't have a math calculator. And so he drove me there. So my dad comes, picks me up, and drives me to take my ACT. And so afterwards, like, I'm talking to the girls that I knew, and like they ended up getting like an 18 on the ACT, and I ended up getting like it was either like a 23 or 24 on it, and I didn't even have a math calculator. And so I did much better than them, and they were mad, man. They were upset. They were PO'd, you know. But it really makes me wonder what I would have gotten on it if I would have actually been in like a correct mind state. You know how slow you are if you don't get any sleep. Like, sleep's incredibly important. And so I really question, like, I'll always regret it, because it's like, what would my score have been if I would have actually did it right, you know, instead. But the score I got was good enough to where I didn't need to take it again. So I never ended up taking it again. The score I got on it was good enough, but like, I always regretted it because I feel like I could have gotten higher than that. And there was always kind of like weirdness with the friends that in that situation, because I did better than they did, and they saw me like partying the whole night before. So it was always just this weird regret that I had growing up. But yeah, that's the only time I took the ACT. This was in the 2000s. Oh, for sure. It's definitely me. Yeah, it's not my parents at all. You know, not my parents at all, for sure. How much tax do you have to pay on a day trade? I made 13K. Well, day trades are short-term gains, right? So you're going to have to pay, it could be anywhere between 10 and 37%. Oh, wait. Let me see. So anywhere between 10 and 37%. So you make 10K, you know, you're going to pay anywhere between $100 and $370. Or no, I'm sorry, you're going to pay anywhere between $1,000 and $3,700. Sorry, math was wrong. You know, you make 12K, it's going to be a little bit higher than that, but it's going to be in the thousands for sure. All right, SPY still dipping under volume weighted average price, still trying to hold. Oh, I'm definitely a nerd, for sure. Amazon, I don't know, man. Amazon always had that really high. Amazon always had that really high PE ratio, so I was always skeptical to invest in it. But it has had a crazy good year, man. If you look at the last 6 months, it's even better. But the year Amazon's had a good year, not a crazy good year. Let me restate it. Crazy good's a little bit of exaggeration, but it's at 131.50s. Opened the year up at about 115s. You know, it was. I guess the reason 2023 has been a great year because Amazon was at $81 at the start of the year. At $81, right? It's now at 130. So I was about to go on another. This is why the rich need to pay taxes rant. I'm okay with the wealthy paying taxes, but I think I think it's nuanced. I'm okay with the rich paying more taxes, but I think it needs to be a limit. Like, people acting like we should just tax the rich, like anybody that makes over $1 million, crazy sums of money. Like, it's going to discourage innovation, because why would people push to make more money if they're just going to get it all taken away in taxes anyway? Right. And so, like, it's a slippery slope, and you have to look at it that way. And I think resentment plays a factor there, where like people resent the rich because they're struggling, and so they resent the rich. But I think it's a slippery slope in that regard, because you don't want to discourage innovation, and that's what's going to happen if you tax them too much. Right. That's obvious. That's a very obvious thing. Like, if if you're going to get it all taken away in taxes anyway, why even try to make more? Why try to innovate? Why not just stay where you are and enjoy less paperwork? If you're going to make, you know what I mean? Now, tax rate, you have to understand, is also marginal, which means that the higher taxes you pay are only on the excess amount that you make over a certain threshold. But still, it's a slippery slope because you don't want to discourage innovation. SPY dipping down. So SPY looking weak, under VWAP, under the 200 EMA. The dollar index is flying up. Where's 10-year yields? 10-year yields still very good. 4.85%, 4.86% for 10-year Treasury yields. They're good. Again, here's 10-year yields right now on the right side. So Treasury yields, and again, it inverted recently. That's had a lot of people talking. Again, here's the Q, the NASDAQ dipping down, I'm sure. So, but again, we've been so sideways this morning. Like, here's all morning right now. Like, I haven't been trading very actively because, again, this is our price action today. It's rectangular. Like it's now the 200 EMA. The 200 EMA right here has been holding really well, but it's still pretty boring. I won't ever make it anywhere. I mean, I think that's a biased view, though. It's bad. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm okay with creating a tax system where we don't have any income tax and it's all based off of what we spend. If we spend, we get taxed for it, and like I'm okay with that. But that'll never happen. But yeah, again, I think in this country, everybody has the ability to be successful. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of work, and it takes creativity for sure. Like you have to be creative in terms of how you make your money and what you do, and it takes perseverance and relentlessness. Are probably pretty good words for it, because most businesses fail. And so I think a lot of people, they try to start a business, they fail, and then they just never try to start another one, right? Where I think the statistics show that it takes 6 failed businesses to have a successful one, right? And so the people that ultimately end up successful are just the people who keep on trying, that keep on pushing, that they don't get so discouraged from failure that they just give up, right? The people who end up being less successful are people who try, fail, and then never try again, I also just think it depends on where you live, right? I really think it depends on where you live. I think there's some places to live in the U.S. right now that are incredibly expensive to live, and it's not really feasible for somebody to like live there easily. You know what I mean? Like Cali, super expensive to live there. But there's a lot of places like that. And so I think you got to live in the right place. And I think you can't be too rigid in regards to where you live, because I think there's some places where it's just going to be an uphill battle constantly trying to live there. Yeah, of course it's bad. It's all good, bro. Surely this pre-market is a bear trap, right? In other words, all these signs, a lot of weakness. Well, yeah, I mean, we're down on the day. So the Q just cracked lows. So we are getting some action, at least it's on the downside. But yields are still rising too, which is kind of crazy. So there's the dollar index on the right, but look at yields. Again, 10-year yields up to 4.87% almost, 4.64 or 4.86%. So yields are steady rising, which are, again, yields are government loans, Treasury bonds is what this is. So, yeah, yields are popping right now. With the weakness of the market, there's usually an inverse correlation. You can look at security TNX as the bond yields. Yeah, Nvidia struggling. Again, NVIDIA at 430s right now. So NVIDIA is down on the day. You know, after the news regarding microchip restrictions overseas came out, that is basically what caused this latest slump, not only in NVIDIA, but in turn the rest of the market, right? So NVIDIA is down, and that drugged the rest of the market down with it. And so that's what it was. Again, we put the news out yesterday. This news story right here, that says officials confirm new rule expands license requirements for chip making equipment in 21 other countries. That's bad for microchips, of course. Look at yields, guys. Wow, look at yields up to 4.87% right now. Steadily approaching 5% bond yields on 10-year Treasury bonds. So that's a big return in bonds, right? And this is going to have a lot of people buying bonds right now. And again, I gave you the math yesterday, right? If you want to see why everybody likes bonds and why this influences everything else, right? And so if you're making 4.87%, right? So if you're making 4.87% return, right, and you loan the government, so bond yields are basically loaning the government money. You're buying bonds. They're going to pay you this yield, 4.87% annually throughout all of it. And so, again, you got 100K. If you have 100K, you're going to make, roughly $4,900 a year by loaning the government 100K. That's what bond is. Your bond is loaning the government money, and there's a maturity date. So you get the money back at the maturity date. If it's a 10-year bond, you get the money back in 10 years, and they're going to pay you this amount in annual interest. And so again, you loan the government 100K, you're going to make roughly $4,900 a year, and they're going to pay you in payments each year, $4,900. And so if you look at this, multiply times 10, you're going to make $49,000, roughly $48,700. Right, so you're going to make $48,700 in a 10-year period. So you're going to make almost 50% return on your money in 10 years. And then at the end of that 10 years, you're going to get your 100K back. And so for a lot of people who don't like the risk of investing in the market, they gravitate towards bonds, right? They gravitate towards bonds because it's a guaranteed return. Like, you are guaranteed to make almost 5% annually by loaning them that money. And so it's guaranteed. Now, when you correlate that with like the S&P 500's average gains on the S&P 500 yearly, you get about 10%. But there's risk, right? And it's volatile, and prices can fluctuate quickly. You can have good years and bad years. On average, though, the S&P 500 long term, you're going to earn about 10% annually. So you're going to make basically twice as much investing in the S&P versus bonds. But bonds come with noticeably less risk. You don't have to worry about market crashes. That rate is locked in for the life of that bond. And so that is why there's a negative correlation with bonds short term and with like the NASDAQ or the S&P. So you can kind of see bonds are shooting up this morning, and the NASDAQ, which is the Q right here, has been shooting down, right? Because there's an inverse correlation, because the more people that buy bonds, the less people that buy the NASDAQ, and vice versa. The less people that buy bonds, the more people that buy the NASDAQ. And so in that regard, when bond yields go up, what happens? More people buy bonds and less people buy the NASDAQ or the S&P and so forth. That's the logic of this, just so y'all understand this at home. That is the logic. That is what's going on inside of it all. So if you want to understand it, that's what this is. Yeah, we had some data come out. We had specifically building permit data right here come out today. Yeah, and so again, if you earn 10%, I don't even need a calculator for any of this, but like if you earn 10% and you invest 100K, you're going to make 100K from it, right? So it's basically bonds will pay you 50% return in 10 years. The S&P will give you about 100% returns in 10 years, right? But there's more risk in the S&P or the NASDAQ or whatever, because again, there's more risk. Foreign currency seems like a really risky endeavor. Watch. It seems like a really risky endeavor. All right, so again, we're shorting the NASDAQ right here. We're up about $35. We didn't short at the low of the day. We short on the little pop afterwards here. So we'll see if we can get a little rejection. Again, we're slightly green. But we got a cushion on the day now that we can swing into. We still got about 40 minutes until the opening bell. All right, there we go. We're up $50. 60. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in and just take the little scalp. Again, we're trying to build up a nice cushion, which we have this morning. So again, you can kind of see this in my P&L right now on this one. We're up about 600, 595. And again, we'll see if we get anything good. All right, so we're still cracking lows on the Q. Maybe I should have held that trade a little bit longer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure day trading with Devin is just exaggerating a little bit to get the point across. I mean, he's basically saying that it's gonna correct itself anyway. Like, you're gonna prices are gonna be noticeably more expensive in 10 years, and so, you know, it's not gonna matter. Like, making 50%, it's not gonna mean much because prices are gonna increase heavily over a 10-year period. Is, I guess, his point. Hey, what's up, Emmanuel? Or what's up, Manny? But what, I guess the point is, like, what bonds are. See, like, what bonds are guaranteed returns. So, right, like, they're guaranteed returns. Yeah, I'm kind of reading a lot of this crazy news. So we did get a little pop-up. Part of me wants to short this, though. So we're going to get ready to trade some futures. I guess I'll short. And so we're up. Boom. I'm going to go ahead and cover that. Very quick little trade. Shorting it, riding this current trend. And again, you can kind of see we're up about 700, 680, 675 on the day. So we got that cushion that we won on this account. So we got the cushion. All right, so we're trying to hold here. We'll see if we do. Yeah, Tesla earnings today are super interesting for sure. Powell tomorrow. And again, if you haven't already, day trade with me on TopStep. TopStep funded program for futures. They give you a demo, test your skill. If you can hit the target on the demo without hitting their max loss, they fund you between 50K up to 150K with a 90% split. And they pay out millions every year, fund thousands of traders a year. They're the most legit funded program in the world in futures. And a lot of people that are trading futures, or a lot of people that are trying to day trade stocks, should be trading futures. Like, you can day trade in futures and then there's no PDT rule. You can basically day trade the NASDAQ. You could basically day trade the Q. Like, this is the E-mini NASDAQ. This is the same price action as the Q. You can see big red action, small little bounce, big red action, small little bounce. Same thing as the Q, right? But I could day trade this in futures with no PDT rule, and the funded account programs allow me to get less risk. Basically, it's $49 for the base combine. They're going to give you a 50K demo if you can hit 3K in profit without losing 2K. So a 2 to 3 ratio, very reasonable. And there's some other rules you got to follow, but very reasonable test. And again, if you use my risk management system, it's much easier for me to get funded. Again, we've been funded on multiple. And again, what I do is I build up a cushion every day. We build up a cushion, right? So like, really, my goal is to make anywhere between $1,000 and $1,500 in profit per day. And the way we do that is we build up a cushion of 200 first, trading just the E-mini or micros. If we do well and we build up that $200 cushion, then we can scale up to larger size. If we do well there, then we can scale up to larger size. And what that enables me to do is, when I lose small. If I lose $200, I'll walk away. And it's very important that you stick to that. If you lose, if you're really trying to get funded, it's very important that you stick to that. But if I'm able to build up profit, that allows me to have big winning days and small losing days sometimes. Now, I'm not perfect with that system. Of course, I make mistakes. But if you can learn to follow that, it's going to be a lot easier to get funded in these things. And just taking the challenge builds your skill. So again, if you want to check it out, there's the link. So the NASDAQ's been flushing down here. We still got 30 minutes until the market opens. So so still cracking lows here. Again, bond yields still consolidating, so they're not really doing much. We can look at Tesla here too. So again, there's Tesla at 253s, right around 253s. All right, guys. So we're a little bit too extended on the downside to short. So we're bouncing up a little bit, but again, we're too extended on the downside for me to really want to short right now. I'll have to wait until we get a better pop. Looking at Tesla, Tesla's still over 250s, which I still think is a positive thing. Like if Tesla can stay over 250s, it's doing okay still. Let me see. Any red today? I'm not sure. Tesla drops his earnings this evening. If you put in an early enough, it should be same day trap. Does anyone know what time Tesla drops its earnings? 4:10 p.m. I believe is when it's supposed to drop. 4:10 p.m. or so. I'll look, but I think it's scheduled technically for 4:05. So actually 4:05. And again, Tesla's margins are concerning. That's the only thing. Like the margins are a little off. I think it's a little risky there. All right, so we did get a pop. I'm going to short now. We got a nice enough bounce for me to be interested in shorting. We might take a couple contracts here too, because our goal is to make 1,000 on the day. We're already up 650. So we're going to add 2 contracts here, and that's it. And then just be patient on this. All right, so we are ripping up. I'm going to get ready to cut it too. We break the top of this candle. I got to get out. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and cut it. So we're still up 500 on the day. Yeah, so we're still up 500 on the day. That's actually our first loss of the day. So that's the only loss we've taken today, and we have a 7-to-1 win-loss ratio. So still doing pretty good. I don't know what I want to do with this account. I guess I could take more, but we might switch to trade like the regular E-mini if that one's super volatile. Let's see what else we got. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me check this real quick. Sorry, I'm trying to see which. All right, so we get a pop on the Q. Part of me wants to hold this short, but there we go. Let's check this one. See, we are dipping down a little bit too. We got this one. Sorry, bear with me, team. We got this one. All right. Make sure this is right. All right, yeah, there we go. All right, we're good. We'll keep with the NASDAQ here, and try to build up our cushion like we normally do. Q's still bouncing back up. We're right at the volume weighted average price though here, team. So we might have a little spot for a rejection. 25 minutes. Yeah, like I said, I might switch accounts since we're already up $500 in the other account, right? And so the question I have there is, do I want to keep pushing in it or do I want to switch? I'll probably switch. And again, here's my profit on that the account we were just trading. And so there's the profit on this account. So, I mean, like, we're very green on the day, and Tesla's starting to rip up. And so I don't mind, you know, walking away from that account specifically, or just kind of keeping it at a spot that, keeping it in a spot where we're green. We're pretty green on the day. We'll come back to it. Yeah, so we're shorting the E-mini now too, so you can kind of see this. We're short. We're gonna go lock that in. We made about $90 so far in the day. Here's this other account, and it's still, we're catching the breakdown nicely in the E-mini. We'll go ahead and lock that in. So now we're up about 2 on the day here. Did want to check the NASDAQ. I thought the short looked a little bit better on the E-mini, but up about 2 on the day on this other account. I might have called that pump. You're welcome if you took it. If Tesla drops big today, I'm going to load with one of my 400K account money. Maybe. Again, the problem with Tesla is the PE ratio is still. See, I might short into this little pop too. See, I was going to short into it, but we didn't quite catch it. It's the NASDAQ, so we can't take larger size. All right, I like that pump. We're going to short into that. There we go. We got a cushion of $200 here, so we're able to take 2 contracts to the NASDAQ just based off of the cushion we currently have. Although we can't take more than that, and we need to kind of scalp it and have a tight risk spot if we do. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more. That's going to be the last add we get to it. And again, we got to be okay with losing. And hopefully we get a rejection, which we're kind of seeing now. That's good. I like the short. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, we just locked in a piece of it. We got $50 up on the rest. Still flushing. 85. We're going to lock that in too. Okay, so very quickly, the short worked really well. Very quickly, we are now up 323 on the day, 320. So we got a really nice cushion heading into the open in 20 minutes for this one too. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want you to shadow trade me at all. I mean, I'm scalping, right? So you're not going to be able to copy me. It's better to just learn how I trade versus try to copy me in my trades. It's just not going to be that easy, you know? We'll look for another pop-up here. We're also watching the Q, so you can see Tesla testing both the VWAP and the 200 EMA here. And so there's a little pop-up on the E-mini. So I see the S&P starting to move back up a little bit more. Who do y'all have, Volk or Makachev? Volk or Makachev? I'd love for Volk to win, but Makachev's so freaking good, man. Yeah, I'd love for We got this little baby pop up, and some of these little baby pops are some of my favorite ways to trade. So like, just to give you an example of what I usually do. So like we get a bearish remove. And again, a lot of the time I'll use like the volume weighted average price down here. And then we'll get a move up, and then we'll get a confirmation in the short position, and then we'll get a better entry like this, right? So I'm betting it's kind of like a head and shoulders where I'm looking for that, and I'll short it on the secondary pop right here that puts in a higher low. Like here's a high, here's a lower high, and I'll short that secondary pop right there. A lot of the time I'm using like the VWAP to do it. And so I'm looking for like a rejection at a VWAP level, and then a small bounce up to retest it. And then I'm shorting into that, looking for like a continuation of the trend, and I'll cover at the bottom of the range right here. You know, that's the plan at least, right? So basically I'll short into these little pops and then look to ride it back down. Again, I'm not saying it's going to work. Can't guarantee anything's going to work. Nobody can, but that's just kind of how I trade. This is the strategies I use. Tesla earnings is at like 4:05 p.m. today. Yeah, Volk will need some luck. Yeah, Volk's good. Feels like it's actually going to be a boring fight. Both are so good. Turns into a tactical game of chess. Yeah, I mean, Volk's fights aren't really the most exciting either. I mean, he's good at striking, but he's a better wrestler, and so most of his fights involve like threatening with takedowns, which you can't really do with Makhachev, right? He can't really threaten Makhachev with much in that regard because Makhachev's so good and with Sambo and everything. So it's a tough fight. We'll see. Let me know who you got, Volk or Makhachev, in the chat. A lot of you guys probably a lot of you guys probably don't even know who we're talking about here, but still. Yeah, I saw this video about Aikido the other day about Jesse and comp. And it's like, dude, I don't care how many people, like, bro, like my problem, like I'm not saying Krav Maga doesn't work. Right? Like, I'm not saying Krav Maga doesn't work. I am saying Aikido doesn't work. All right. Aikido is total nonsense. But like, I'm not saying Krav Maga doesn't work. But some of the stuff is obvious. It's like, oh, poke him in the eye. Obvious. Like, of course. Oh, wow. You know? As Dwight from The Office famously said, the eyes are the groin of the face. But yeah, I just think some of it's obvious. Like, oh, okay, poke him in the eye. Of course, that's what you do. And so I think it's good stuff to learn, but it's to a point, you know. If you really want to learn to fight somebody, or, you know, self-defense, learn jiu-jitsu, learn Muay Thai or boxing or wrestling or whatever. Wrestling is probably the best, realistically, but yeah. All right, so we got that little bounce. Maybe I should have shorted into this pop. Look at Tesla fall, though. So this is making me be bearish here. Look at Tesla fall. And look, there's the big drop. Yeah, so again, I use large caps to influence what I think the S&P and the NASDAQ are going to do based off of the large cap trends. And again, look at Tesla fall here. So Tesla rejecting at the 200 EMA under the volume weighted average price. Yeah, I would love to see Charles more than any of them, but I don't know. I thought Makhachev won the last fight, Paul, and I wanted Volkanovski to win, but I thought Makhachev won. I thought it was close enough to where you could give it to Makhachev at least. I kind of get nervous when the market looks this bearish pre-market can rip up and open. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good at UFC 4, bro. I'm kind of bummed they're having a new one come out, but I'm ready for the new one. But I'm good at UFC 4. Like, I can get to level 20 in the online champions. championships. It sucks though, because like after level 15, I think you can't see your opponent's stamina anymore, and so it's really difficult. But that's probably the video game I'm the best at is UFC 4. But the new one comes out in a couple weeks. We'll see. I'll have to try to get my kids playing it. It teaches you how to breathe and not freak out, Michael, for sure. Like jiu-jitsu, when I first started, I'd roll with somebody and I would just panic, man. I'd just, breathe. I'd start breathing out of my mouth and like I would just panic, right? What jiu-jitsu teaches you to do is breathe, right? Not panic is what it teaches you to do. And so now at this point in time, I breathe really well and I can breathe out of my nose. The way I do it is I try to breathe out of my nose as much as possible because that lowers my breathing and lowers my heart rate, helps me to calm down by breathing out of my nose. Now it's not always feasible. Like sometimes I'm gonna, have to breathe out of my mouth because I need the oxygen. But yeah, it'll teach you how to not freak out, which is good. All right, guys. So again, we're consolidating here. We've been here. We got 12 minutes until the opening bell. The other one is Kamaru Usman versus
Chimaev.
Yeah. So the other one is Usman versus Chimaev. Hamzat's a beast too, man. Hamzat's got really good knockout power and great wrestling, though. So I think Usman's in trouble, but Usman's always somebody that could surprise people. Like, Usman's good. There's a reason he was champ for so long. All right, so we're bouncing up again, but now that we're bouncing up, I see Tsla popping up. I see some other stocks popping up. I just don't trust it enough. So again, you can see the NQ, the NASDAQ bouncing up a little bit. Again, a lot of the time I'll take trades based off of like support levels like this, where I'll, for instance, as an example, like I'll short. What are you doing, man? Give me the level. Like I'll short, and then I'll use this as a risk level. So like I'll short it right here, and if it breaks above this, I'll cut it. And if it holds underneath that, I'll hold it. But at this point, we're very flat over the last 30 minutes or so now, 20 minutes. And so I think I just got to wait. Yeah, Usman's good, man. Usman, people hate on Usman. I think the surprising thing is like once, like when fighters get too cocky, when they start to get too confident, they seem to lose. Usman got really confident before he lost recently. Izzy, super confident before he lost. Connor, obviously, super confident before he lost. All right, guys, NVIDIA now under 430s at 428. The lows of the day at NVIDIA right here. So we pull NVIDIA up. Again, the lows of the last few days, I should say, are right here. So again, look at the low. It's right at 425 is the low from yesterday on NVIDIA. 425 is the low. We'll see if we break that. I think 425 is going to be a big psychological level that we want to pay attention to as well. No, I think confidence is good in trading. I think you just have to be okay with losing too, though. Like confidence is great, but you have to be okay with losing. There's a difference between confidence and ego. Like I can be confident in my trading system, and I am confident in my trading system. It works. I have a lot of success with it on Top Step, but if my ego gets in the way and I don't cut my losses, it doesn't matter how good of my trading system is. Doesn't matter because I'm letting my ego get in the way. And so I think you have to limit your ego. And I think the best way to do it is just condition yourself through repetition to cut losses when you need to. So I think if you condition yourself through repetition, I think you get okay with losing and you start to understand that losing is part of the game. That's what it is. All right, so we're getting sideways action. Look at NVIDIA breakdown, though. So, again, let's watch 425. We talked about this level a lot. NVIDIA just hit 427s. We got about 6.5 minutes until the market opens. Do you like Apple? I'd like Apple long-term. Short-term, though, is volatile, and I don't know what it's going to do. You know, I'm down in equities today. We're not down much, though, but we're down in equities. Yeah, again, NVIDIA breaking down. We're at 427s right now. Again, I'd watch 425. This level specifically right here is the low from yesterday. And so I think 425 is going to be a smart level to watch. This level specifically right here on NVIDIA. 425 even is what it is. And I think that's going to influence the rest of the market too. All right, guys, 6 minutes. There's a big dip in the market here, and it's not from NVIDIA this time. So look at NASDAQ fall. It's not Tesla. It's not NVIDIA. All right, so there's NVIDIA cracking lows, but again, NVIDIA is not the one doing this. It's Apple, I believe. So Apple falling down quickly here. And again, it kind of goes to show how I always talk about shorting into these secondary pops. MS didn't have good earnings. It had at the very least mixed earnings. A lot of people thought they were negative. Definitely missed on revenue. Lower than it had better than expected EPS, but they were lower year over year than the previous one. All right, guys, 4 minutes. But look at the dip in markets here. And this is why I short these secondary pops, because I don't know whose number this is. Let me see. I'm gonna short into this little pop real quick. See if we can make some money from it. We're gonna add a little bit to it. So we're in one trade. We're already green in this account right now, though. Do I want to add more to it? Maybe not. All right, I'm going to add more only because I see NVIDIA flush. There we go. Cover half of that really quickly here. We still got 2 minutes. There we go. And again, catching that NVIDIA breakdown. All right, so we're covered already. So we already made some, which is nice. All right, so I guess that short worked really well. All right, so there's the opening bell in 30 seconds. All right, so here's the opening bell, guys. 12 seconds. Market's still slumping down some. All right, so there's the opening bell. Market bounced pretty quickly now at the open. All right, big pop at the opening bell. It's mostly from NVIDIA, it looks like here. Again, what's been dragging down is Morgan Stanley cracking lows, like really dipping down fast here. So there's no promo code, but you can use my link in the description, YouTube user. So there's no promo code, but it's going to give you the discount. Again, choppiness at the open. We're watching NVIDIA pretty close. Again, where did NVIDIA bounce off of? 425. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to hold, but we went right down to 425. Tesla falling at the open and then rebounding back up some. Look at this big run back up here. Look at NVIDIA bouncing back up too. It's at 429, 430s. Yeah, so again, equity's falling for sure. Gold's still up though today. NVIDIA bouncing back up. Tesla cracking lows. NVIDIA right at the volume weighted average price. Again, we're green on the day here, on this account at least, which is our second one that we've been trading. Let me find the P&L. Yeah, so we're up like 4 on this one. Big rebound though. Look at NVIDIA shoot up. Again, where did we bounce, guys? What level did we tell you guys about? We said 425 on NVIDIA. Look at the low of the day right here. It's exactly at 425 to put it into perspective. So when you're right, you're right. They say technicals don't work, but... All right, so again, here's the second support level we drew on our chart. So I'm saying people can say I'm a bad trader or whatever they want to say, but like... I might short into this level. Hey, I'm going to short into this level. See, I didn't quite get filled. We might have to add a little bit more to it. And maybe I were just wrong, getting punished. Luckily, we're up 400 on the day. We can get it, let it work a little bit, give it some more time. Fix our average here, but we got to be careful. All right, so we took our larger risk and we paid for it. Yep. Well, now on this account, we are down $200 on the day. So we'll probably stop trading this account and trade a different one now. And again, it's all good. Like I said, we took our larger risk. This is just a huge run up, man. So, but luckily it could have been a much larger loss. And so this is how we avoid big drawdowns. And again, if we hit our max loss, we could just trade a different account on the day. Hey, nice Shepherd. Man, look at this run in the market, guys. Wow, so Tesla ripping up, Nvidia shooting up. I'm surprised my equity portfolio isn't more green, but trying to see what the biggest losses on the day. It's not really any big losses on any individual stock. It's mostly just like an accumulation of small losses on my whole portfolio. Yeah, I mean, a $200 loss isn't the end of the world, especially when we're up like 500 on the other account that we were trading today. So like, you know, here's my other account today, you know, and so it's all good. Again, it's not the end of the world. We'll figure it out. Market's flying up too, so I'm definitely not going to trade against that trend right now. What's AMC at? We're not going to win every day, though. I know it looks like that, but AMC ripping up over 10s. Look at this run, though, guys. Tesla almost green on the day heading into Tesla earnings. Nvidia shooting up as well. Is there some catalyst? Marmoset brings breakthroughs in rendering. A couple other words. Citigroup maintained a buy on Nvidia, but this was earlier. All right, so we can get Nvidia over the 200 EMA. Microsoft doing well. Yeah, a lot of stuff's up. Look at AMC's even up today, too. The problem is Morgan Stanley falling down, though. Like, Morgan Stanley is cracking down. All right, so we got a little dip now. Let's see. Do I want to trade here? Again, I got to switch accounts. Let me see which one we want to go to. Got a pretty big dip here. Watch Nvidia 430s. Yeah, watch Tesla too, right over the 200 EMA. We'll see if it holds. Okay. Yeah, this will have to be good. All right. Look at this big give back here. Again, this is too much unknown. Big run up, big pullback. Yeah, I just don't know right now. Tesla earnings are this And again, another one of my sponsors, guys, check out Chart Prime. Maybe I should have used Chart Prime more today, because Chart Prime is a trading view indicator service you can use in stocks, crypto, Forex, futures. I'm going to show you how I use this and what I'm going to do now. So like, here's the E-mini, right? So here is the E-mini, the S&P 500 E-mini. This is basically the S&P 500, right? Again, I always challenge people, backtest this yourself if you don't believe me. But like, we put up just these basic two, just market oracle and chart patterns are powerful, right? Like, look, number one, backtest how well these work whenever the actual pattern breaks. So like, here's the trend. Look at how well it works when the actual pattern breaks, right? The other thing that I think you should backtest if you really want to see how well this works is like, look, let me show you. So look at how many times, and again, we got two beautiful examples of it this morning. So look, when an engulfing candle and a reversal signal show up within the same like 20-minute period. This is a 5-minute chart, so within 4 candles of each other, right? Like, check this out. Look, here's one of them this morning. This happened at about this happened, I'm not sure when this happened, but here's the E-mini. And then here's a bounce up. So look at this bounce, right? So we get the engulfing candle and reversal up signal. Beautiful bounce over hours and hours of time frame, right? Here's another example. Possible reversal up, bullish engulfing candle. Again, right around the same spot. These happen within 10 minutes of each other. Within 10 minutes of each other. Boom. Beautiful bounce over the next like 3 hours here. So 2 beautiful examples of what I'm talking about. And again, you can back test this one yourself to see how accurate it works. Let's zoom in a little bit. This one's a little far away, so we're not going to use that. Again, here's multiple showing up together within about a 20-minute period of time. Look, here's multiple showing up, and then boom, beautiful breakdown here. And again, you can see just the reversal signals, right? Just looking at the reversal signals, they probably work pretty accurately as well. I haven't really backtested just them, but breakdown, 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 bounce. This one might not have worked, but worked. And so again, I challenge you to backtest how often these work. Again, here's another. This one might not work because they're farther apart. Here again, here's another example. Look, reversal down in a bearish engulfing candle, drops up until what? This is like a 5-hour bearish action. And so again, I challenge you to backtest it. And this is very powerful. I can't guarantee it's going to work for you. Nobody can, but this is just a small piece. Again, you can see chart patterns. You can see flag patterns that show up. I can put up smart money concepts if you like smart money concepts. I can put up shorter term indicators. I can use on a 1-minute chart, a 5-minute chart. I can put an hourly chart up and test it on an hourly chart. And there's a lot of great edge that you can get from these. Again, I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Nobody can, but it could just be a powerful way to gauge trends. You can use it in stocks, crypto, Forex, futures. Again, here's an hourly chart. And again, let me show you this, right? So again, here is, I'm going to get rid of all this stuff, right? So look at the buy and sell signals here, and look at how well these can work too. Like, this is an hourly chart. So sell signal, drop, buy signal, bounce, strong buy signal, bounce, buy signal, bounce, sell signal, drop. This one might not have worked. Sell signal, really nice drops. And so again, you can kind of see how accurate these can be. There's a lot of different tools that they offer, and it's like $60 a month, I think. And you can get it for 40% off if you use my link, which I think is where you get it for $60. You can also check out the promo code here if you want to use them. So again, we'll put the promo code up if you want to click it. There you go, right there. And then we'll also put the link up. They are a sponsor of mine. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. And again, I'm biased, of course, in their favor because they pay me money. Here's the link. Yeah, great way to help support your boy here on this channel. Thanks so much. I like watching your trades. You don't let emotions take over. I'm not that cool-headed. Yeah, I mean, that comes with repetition, though. So that really comes with repetition. Like, when you do something over and over and over and over again, you stop caring as much about it, is what it is. And that's the point, though. That's where you want to get to. Like, that's the point of this. Like, you want to get to that level where you just don't care as much, where you're not super worried about it, where you understand there's always another trade, there's always another day. And like, getting super emotional or wrapped up in any individual loss or win, it's just not the right move. Again, it's sideways action right now. Tesla sideways, Nvidia sideways. Really good green action at the open, but kind of flat and a big pullback since the opening bell too. Hey, nice YouTube. Thanks, man. All right, so look at NVIDIA, guys. And again, the level to watch on NVIDIA, we talked about 425 before the opening bell, and that's exactly where we bounced today. Look at 425. We bounced directly off of that level. We're starting to approach it now, too. And if we crack that 425 level, I mean, it's arguable that we could get some breakdowns here. But again, I really don't know, but we certainly could get something going on if we do start to break down there. Logan Paul ain't never taken an MMA fight with Dylan Danis because you know he's gonna get destroyed. All right, we're too sideways. Like we're neutral right now. All right, so there's the red action. Again, NVIDIA right at 425. It's one of the reasons. Okay, there's the break. NVIDIA just cracked 425. So there's a breakdown here. There's the flush. Starting to turn. How shorts work? Can you explain it, please? Shorts is like going up to your neighbor and asking to borrow a bag of sugar that costs $1. Taking the bag of sugar, immediately selling it, putting the $1 in your pocket, and then waiting for the bag of sugar to drop to 50 cents, and then buying a bag of sugar back and returning it to your neighbor, thus profiting the 50-cent difference. That's what shorting is. Again, so now we're bouncing back up a little bit, but the problem is that NVIDIA bounced directly off of 425 again, and it held. And so I'm skeptical. To say the least. Yeah, they fought in boxing, though. And, I mean, Logan's been training with the best boxers in the world for 5 years. Dylan has been training for, 6 months? And Logan said that he would fight Dylan in MMA, but you know he's not going to because he would get choked out in about 3 seconds. I don't know much about him, Ethan. Or no, Arif. I don't know much about him, dude. Again, we're so flat right now at neutral. I just don't know if I can get behind trading this right now. It's just too boring. There's just no real edge, I think. We got Tesla earnings later on today.
You want to be my friend?
Oh, sorry, guys. Freaking TikTok playing on here. Like, I'm trying to check to see how my TikTok goes, and, I go to the main page, and it just starts playing videos. Do you guys want to be my friend? You know? Again, NVIDIA bouncing right at 425s again. It broke down a little bit underneath it. It hit 424.50s, but it was basically a wick. It ended up bouncing right back. Yeah, I don't know if we look at anything right now. I think we're just flat, man. The market's too boring. So again, I'm going to be back later on. I'm going to go ahead and close it down. And we'll be back later on for Tesla earnings, guys. So be ready. Tesla earnings. We're going to go live. Prepping for everything soon. Tesla earnings coming soon. Yeah, but it doesn't matter how good of a wrestler he is, Ethan. He's going to get tapped out if he fought Dylan. Dylan held his own against Gordon Ryan, who's the best grappler in the world. You know? And so if Dylan fought Logan, Dylan would choke him out in 20 seconds, man. And again, there's a reason both Logan and Jake avoid MMA fights. You know, even with wrestling backgrounds, like Logan's still gonna get choked out. You know. So Tesla earnings drop at 410. Yeah. But hey, guys, I'm closing it down. I love you all. Again, check out Top Step if you want to help support your boy here in this channel. Check out Top Step, funded account program and futures. They give you a demo, test your skill. You can day trade. Look, I can buy market, buy bid, sell the ask. Very similar to day trading stocks, just no PDT rule, less red tape. You get more leverage. These funded account programs are allowed. They give you a demo, test your skill, all that good stuff. Check out the links in the description. You can check out Chart Prime in the description as well. I love you all. Again, I'll be back later on today. We're going to have a long day today, and so I'm going to go ahead and close this early, and we'll be back later on. I'll see you guys this afternoon. Y'all be safe.